Aloha, and welcome to Wisdom Dialogues with Hope Johnson, coming to you from Hawaiian Paradise Park on the beautiful big island of Hawaii. Yay, thank you so much for joining. Oh gosh, it's been so wild as far as just things being exposed, patterns being exposed, like in my own mind too. People coming and ask me things, I was partying at the lawn last night. That was so fun, you guys. If anyone, if any of you guys live around Pahoa, Hawaii, or you want to come visit Pahoa, Hawaii, the lawn is like the funnest festival of the year, but it's every week on Sunday. Yeah, people would just come up to me and ask me something. I love that. They just come up to me and they just ask me something. My friend was like, "You don't mind that people just come up to you and ask you something?" I go, "No, it's fun." They're like, "Hey, I'm having a problem with this." I go, "Oh, this is the." They'll be like, "Oh, thanks. Oh, that's so relaxing." Yeah, that's the most. That has to be way up there as one of the most rewarding things you can possibly experience, is just your friends being able to relax. So one of the questions that stands out to me, I know it's very common with you guys, and we've talked about it a lot before, but still it bears repeating because there's the forgetting thing, right? There's this forgetting. You don't make any decisions. So whenever you think that you have some tough decision to make, my friend was telling me that, what do you do when you have a tough decision to make? There are no tough decisions. There's nothing tough about the decision. The decision is unfolding. It looks like you have a choice in it. That's the illusion, that you have a choice between these alternatives. You don't have a choice between those things. And, whatever it is that's chosen for you is perfect for you. So then you don't have to engage in those kinds of thoughts at all, just wondering if you're going to make the right decision or not. You can get super curious and playful about, what will I seem to choose? Which one will it be? It won't matter in any way. It will not matter in any way. You making it meaningful to yourself in a dream doesn't make it matter. Okay, you make it matter to yourself. You make it your reality that this is the way it is, but it doesn't mean anything. So all it does is project this guilty mindset, like you're separate. Now you have to make choices to try to protect the image, the separate image that you made. You don't need to make any of those choices. And you can't. That's the other thing. You can convince yourself that you're making the choice, but you don't really make any choice. Cause and effect. Okay. That comes up all the time because of this. I have to check my own mind all the time, because it looks like to me, cause and effect, all these vaccinated people are getting fucked up, right? That's what it looks like to me. But I have to check my own mind on that thing, because that's speaking to cause and effect. It can't be true. It has to be an attack on yourself to make that true, to make that thought meaningful. Right? Notice the fear in that. If a vaccine has a certain effect. Oh, and you don't have a choice in whether you take a vaccine or not. You don't. But we tend to identify with the choices we think we make and justify them. So we never have to justify any of the choices. Being guided in the moment, all choices being guided in the moment by either the ego or the spirit, any kind of material justification for it is silly. You don't do it. You don't make that choice. It's made for you. How do you know if it's an ego choice or a spirit choice? It's a feeling. You can evaluate what it is, or like what the choice is, like whether that was a good choice or not. I mean, you can, but it's not meaningful at all. All it's doing is projecting guilt. It's projecting more guilt. It's like a self-attack. Guilt means pain. Guilt means fear. And when I say pain, there's a pained mind, and there's also the pain in the body sense. Any pain that comes up in the body sense, that's for resolving. It's only for resolving the sense that you're separate. So appreciating the pain is, first. Gratitude for the pain is first. Thank you. And when you look at pain and you're relaxing in a way where you're ready to embrace that pain, you're just ready to embrace that pain, you're relaxing with it like that, and you're getting all of your breath is going deep. It's not like hard, it's calm, and you're feeling what you're feeling. That's what's burning it out. So it's like this willingness to be calm in the midst of a turbulence, like an emotional turbulence. You get the sense that something you did affected something, or someone did something, it affected something. Like such as my uncle so-and-so smoked cigarettes for 50 years and then he died of lung cancer. That's what you get for smoking cigarettes. See, that's an attack, because it's saying that you can do something to harm yourself. And just believing that you can do something to harm yourself, you're going to find yourself in a dream apparently doing things to harm yourself. It projects that illusion. So when you do, because you've already projected it, you're going to find yourself as if you did something to harm yourself. That's the moment to deny truth to it. So just the thought comes up. Let's say, I feel bloated because I ate chocolate cake last night. Okay. Or I'm immobile now because I played softball and I tripped and hurt myself. If you're willing to deny truth to those thoughts in the moment, that's how the patterns get resolved. By making them real, they're projected again. So see, the patterns, they will just go for infinity. So if you like the pattern, you can keep it. You don't have to get rid of any pattern that you don't like, that you like. But if you don't like the pattern, if it's not joyful to you, you don't have to keep it. But while it's present, don't resist it. You have to experience it, you have to embody it, but you don't have to keep it. You got to get to know what it is before you can go, oh, I don't need that. And you get to know it by sensing it, by opening up in your body sense. Get relaxation within that emotional pain. And all pain is emotional. Headache, toothache, a bug bite, that's painful for people sometimes. An itch is also a form of pain. Any kind of sickness, it's all emotional pain. It's suffering over the illusion that you're guilty. So all kinds of thoughts are coming up to point that direction, as if you're guilty. So when you get that sensation of guilt, see the sensation, that's the key. It's not to be feared, not to be covered up. You know what you do when you cover it up? Covering up is basically projecting it. Like, let's say I had an agreement with this guy. he was going to do a bunch of work for me. And then he didn't do the work that he agreed to do, but he still wants to get paid. Right. So now you feel this pain like, man, I've been taken advantage of. I shouldn't have to pay this dude. You know, the thoughts that go around with it, but really it's a pain. It's an emotional pain. Okay. So now you got this pain. So once you got this pain, it's like, oh, I know what this is for. That's the willingness. Thank you to this guy who told me he was going to do that stuff. And then he didn't do it. And then he still wanted to get paid. Thank you. That's freaking awesome. How can I ever repay you for this? I mean, really. And, you know, my friends go, well, what do you just let people walk all over you? Well, it's not quite like that. Boundaries are fine with me. But, you know, making guilty is not fine with me because I feel it and I'm not into it. I'm the first recipient of that and I'm not into it. I don't accept that for myself. So I don't try to offer it to anyone. Oh, aloha, Lori. Aloha, sorry. Thank you for joining. Ah. Eating cake like a champ, guilt-free, hooray. Yes, you would, wouldn't you, Glenn? That's the only way to eat cake or anything else. Okay, that's the only way because there's no one making a choice. You know, one of my friends this weekend was talking about her husband's integrity. Okay. And she's suffering over the idea that her husband doesn't have integrity. You know, in her perception, and I have no idea what's going on. Like I had not trying to make sense of anything in the world, but in her perception, he's like, I guess he's totally fucking other chicks in her perception, and so you know, there's this sense like this guy, he's out of integrity, and that's why I'm suffering, and you know, basically that is a need to keep a pattern when you're going to say he's out of integrity and you want to stand by that. If you want to be committed to that he's out of integrity, guess who suffers for that? I think you know, it's you. You know, of course, he's going through it too. I have both of them coming up to me. One will walk away and then the other one comes up. Of course, he's going through it too. It's like, I just want to be talked to nicely. I just want to be touched nicely. I just want kindness. I just want gentleness. You know, and I didn't ask him, are you fucking around with your wife? I don't know. I'm not in charge of anything that I say. That would be fun, but that didn't occur. You know, but basically, you know, to both of them, it's like, you are the one, you are the only one. So it just takes a little bit of willingness to see that you are the only one. I want kindness and nice touches. Okay, if I want kindness and nice touches, then when I feel like I'm being touched aggressively, that's basically an upset feeling. You know, it's an energetic touching. When I feel like I'm being touched aggressively, there's an upset feeling. It's for me to put like this blanket of compassion around that, and just like let that rest there. So you got your wife being a complete bitch. I know how it is. She, you know, she's nagging at you. She's going, rah, 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 why are you with those chicks? She's even making the chicks uncomfortable. You're trying to have a nice time with some chicks and they're uncomfortable. You know, and she's like, and she's like this with you. Rah, 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 rah. Do this, you know. In that moment, it's instead of projecting as if she's so mean, because you put her there to be mean. You put her there to be mean because you're mean to yourself. That's why you put her there to be mean. So it seems like it's coming outside of yourself, from outside of yourself, like someone else is being mean. I wish they would just be nicer, right? You're being mean to yourself, and that's why you have her being mean to you. So it's like the whole thing gets turned around when you approach it like, thank you. She's over there bitching you out, and you're like, you feel that, and you know, the gratitude comes in. You're just willing for gratitude to take place because she helps you bring up that pain. and your relationship with her will transform. It will totally transform. I'm 100% certain of that. The only time it doesn't transform is when people aren't willing. It's like when you just look at it with reason, it's like, how can that not work, really? How can that not work? You're just embracing whatever it is that the person is providing you, and you're grateful for it. You're not hoping it goes away. You're not victimized by it. You're just using it for awakening our shared mind. Okay, let's see. We have the hand going on here. Aloha, Hugh. You are.
What's your favorite color?
Who is this?
My name is Hugh Janus.
Hugh Janus. What's my favorite color is your question?
Yeah, I have a disability where I need to know stuff. I will not feel comfortable around people unless I know a few things about them.
Like what their favorite color is?
Yes, ma'am.
Well, I don't know what that is. I mean, it's whatever color I seem to be looking at in the moment. It's like, thank you.
Oh, that's very great to know.
Thank you for joining. I appreciate you.
And when you say my name, you have to say my first and last name. Well, it's not even my last name. I have a 2-digit name. You know, it's kind of weird.
Okay. Well, I'm going to put you back on listening for now. Thank you for joining. I appreciate you. Yeah, a couple little settings going on there. Okay, yay, my daughter joined. This is so sweet. If you'd like to speak with me, you can chat with me, okay? At least for this session. Put it in the chat. I see your hand, but I'm not coming back to that one right now. So chat me, let me know what you would like to chat about, okay? Thank you. It's funny when someone asks me, what's the biggest lesson you've learned recently? All of a sudden, I'm just blank. You know how I just always have so much stuff to say on Wisdom Dialogues, right? It's funny. It's kind of like a switch. It's like, I'm like, someone asked me that, and I'm just kind of like, I can't think of a fucking thing, actually. Yeah. But you know, the channeling, I guess you would say, the channeling that just happens spontaneously. It's like a listening, and it's not really like expecting anything. It's kind of like a willingness to relax in the moment and let whatever come through needs to come through, just come through. So it's like when it's like, okay, what is the most whatever? It's like, gosh, it's like whatever insight is coming to me in the moment is just like the most for me. It's like, this is it. I'm like, oh, thank you. Okay, Jean. Oh, Asana. Yay.
Hi.
Aloha. It's us.
Aloha. So I had a text and I thought I would share it with you. It's a good one. So it just shows how things will just pop up, out of your mind without you even, so unexpectedly. So I'm sending this text I was invited to go somewhere with a friend of mine. So I'm sending her back the text and I say, well, I was busy, but I say, well, I'm all tied up.
Oh, that's awesome.
with the person, right?
Yeah.
So, then it hit me. I was like, oh my God, I all tied up. And then of course I was glad I read it first. Oh, scratch that. Right. Right. Oh, I'm busy.
Yeah.
But it was like, it's so crazy how those little,
Well, even
Of
I'm
posting
busy. I
it.
mean, it's not in the words really, but even I'm busy has a certain connotation, but I wouldn't tweak out on words that much. More
Oh,
like look to the feeling. They might be symbolic of a certain feeling. So, um, just trying to manage words tends to become a distraction for people, is what I notice, because you can't really get the essence underneath it while you're focused on that. You could say words are like words are kind of like boundaries that you make up around the meaning, around the real meaning, you know, because the real meaning is
okay.
beneath that.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh, I felt it emotionally. I mean, I felt the emotion of it too. That
Yeah,
I would feel that way, because
like
there's
you're
times
tied
in
up.
life where you're, yeah, you're stuck, right?
Hmm.
Same thing, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, I know that feeling.
Oh yeah.
I recognize it.
It's
I was
so
like, oh,
good. It's so good. Yeah, the main thing about suffering, and resolving the cause of suffering, is knowing when you're suffering, like being willing to admit, okay, I'm suffering.
yeah. Well, for sure, you have to recognize it first. You have to know that suffering is something to recognize.
Right. Yeah, is it? Yeah, because there's looking in the direction of trying to get rid of suffering by doing something,
Right.
you know. So, and that's what the habit is,
Yes.
to try to get rid of it. Like we're trying to compensate for a guilty feeling all the time,
Oh
trying
yeah,
to
we're
get
all,
whole. What's that?
yeah, distracting ourselves
Yeah,
with one thing or another. Again,
right.
go
I
from
mean,
one thing to the next.
yeah, really, you want quiet, you know,
Yes.
really, you just want some quiet. You just want some space. And it
Yeah.
seems like it's not easy to do that.
No, your mind wants you to think there's a lot of things you're supposed to be doing.
Yes,
You've
exactly.
been told.
Yes, we've been told. And you know what? That is a practice in and of itself. And it's like whatever you feel like drawn towards, that's a practice in and of itself. If you're going, you're just noticing whenever the mind's trying to make it as if you are capable of doing something, and just noticing that. Today I'm going to notice whenever it seems like I'm capable of doing something. I'm going to feel that feeling. I'm going to notice that this is a habit for me.
Yeah, and making a list and then checking off what you did. And then, okay, so it's such a setup. So when you accomplish a lot of things on your list or whatever, you feel good. And if you don't, you're like, oh man, right? So,
Yeah, and there's not a problem making the list or anything.
no,
It's
no,
it's the thing, it's the
right,
thing that's attached to it. See,
right.
so say you made your list today and you did all your stuff that you were supposed to do in your mind, and you feel good about it. Notice that, because there's an opposite coming. I mean, that's
Yes,
got to be totally obvious, because this
right,
is so changeful from day to day.
yes,
So the opposite to that prideful feeling is coming.
yes.
It's like the most important, or you could say the only thing you can do, not even the most important, just the only thing you can do is make miracles, really. And that's all
Yes.
that's all in that's all in the observation only, that you're making miracles. You just
Isn't it in the change of perception?
Sure, you could say it like that too, as long as your
Oh,
intention is
meaning the
off
same
of
thing.
trying
I
to do
see.
shit in the world.
Yeah, right.
There's plenty of ways to say it. Believe me, I've been talking for how many hours?
Years.
Yeah. You can see by years of content, it's unlimited way of saying things.
Right,
The
same
words
thing.
don't mean anything. You're not responsible for doing anything. And that's just such a hard hook for people to get.
Oh, for sure.
And you know, it's so potent too. If you're willing to look at that, that's so potent.
Yeah.
Just in the moment and noticing that that's not a reasonable thought. There's nothing even reasonable about that thought. I mean, it's one
Right.
thing to go over what you did today. Like someone might ask you, hey, what did you do today? You're like,
Mhm.
oh, thanks for asking. You start going over it. What did I do today? And you're going over what you do today. You know, it's like just watching, nothing happened. It's amazing. Like sometimes someone will ask me, what did you do today? And I'll start going and it'll be so much stuff. I'm like, how did that even fit into the day? And how is it so chill? My son Braun will often ask me, what'd you do today? Like, so it like gives me a moment to go, oh, well, you start at the beginning and then you like end up listing off all this stuff. Even if, you know, I perceive myself laying around all day, there's all these little things that pop up. Like you took a shower, you made some food, you made a phone call, you sent an email, and you know, had a meeting, what, you know, whatever. Things add up, and it's just meaningless, and it's just for fun, and it just occurs anyways. So it certainly doesn't need a guilty thought to help it out. So looking out for pride too, because it's the opposite of shame. And it's always leading back there. So the mind will go, how do I get more days like that where I'm doing all that stuff? It's like, who would care? What is there what is there to achieve here? Yet you might find yourself going in the direction of achievement, and that's okay. That's how it goes. That's how the mind goes. It's a program playing out. You're watching a program playing out, and the program is going to play out for infinity until you don't want it anymore. A lot of times people say, I don't want it, but you really do want it because you're resisting it. Resisting is the same as wanting it. Okay, if you don't want it, if you really don't want it, then you're not going to pay attention to it. So while it's gripping you, you can't help but pay attention to it. Know that you fucking want it.
Yeah, there's something wrong with me.
You're too scared to stop. You're too scared to stop paying attention to it. You know, if you're too scared to stop paying attention to it, that's fucking awesome. You know, you're noticing that I'm too scared. I'm not willing because I'm too scared. I have to pursue this thought right now. Let's just go in it. Let's do it. Let's see how that thing feels. Let's feel it out. Let's get to know it. It's gripping anyways. Why not dance with it? So let's see. I have oh, what do we have here? When we realize our actions. Oh, what are you doing there? Asana, you still with me?
Oh yeah, I was just gonna say thanks so much. Love
Oh,
you.
thank you too. I love you. Okay, so when we realize our actions didn't reflect innocent, do we go back and change our actions or just internalize and let it go? So you didn't do anything. Number one, you didn't do anything. This is huge because, you know, you might think that you affected your relationship with a person because of the way you acted. You might think you affected your relationship with the person, but you really didn't. You really didn't. Your relationship is always the same. Nothing changed. Look, in reality, he's laughing and you're laughing at the whole situation. It's just funny. If you're reacting where you're making another person out to be guilty, you need compassion. That's all. So in the moment when you're thinking about the person, it's not a matter of course, there's this regret thing that's a total habit. See, it's a learning situation. So it's nothing for regretting, of course. That's a habit. It keeps the same kind of stuff coming around again. It has to be that way. It's meant to be that way. So there's no going back on anything. You don't have to go back on anything. Okay. You might find yourself, maybe reaching out to the person and said, hey, that stuff I was saying to you, I just want you to know that was totally about myself, had nothing at all to do with you, and you have only been a complete blessing in my life. If that's true for you, you might find yourself expressing that, but that's not like some kind of directive on what you should do. But I think you can feel I think you can feel into what it's like to have that perspective, though, like what that feels like to offer something like that, even where it seems like it's not deserved, or it's even dangerous. Like it can harm you to recognize the innocence. Okay. So for you, it's a matter of recognizing the innocence in all of this. It's a matter of recognizing the innocence. You're going to get all kinds of things off of this. It's great. It's great that you had this experience of yourself denying someone innocence, because now you're going to get all kinds of different patterns coming up. You got the regret one. You got the, what should I do about this one? See, you know what you should do about something when you're just doing it. It's in motion. An inspired emotion. It's like you just know that you're in the right place. Like you're connecting. You're connecting with the heart of everyone, right? So how do we rid ourselves from chronic pain issues, or in my case, allergies? Well, don't make the goal to get rid of your allergies. Don't make the goal to get rid of your pain. Your goal is to awaken from a dream. And pain and allergies are things that are set in the dream to make you aware of how you're keeping yourself asleep. So they're very valuable. So you come to loving the pain that you actually want to keep. You actually want to keep it until it does the job for you. You need it until it does the job for you. So thankfulness. Thank you. Whenever you have any kind of, and not just thank you that it's leaving, right? That's like, it's wishful thinking when you talk like that, because you believe it's there. That's why you think you see it's there. That's why you perceive an allergy. You believe it's possible. So that upset feeling that you get in perceiving it, that's the upset feeling to work with. I mean, it is really that simple. Taking that feeling that's associated with the sense that I have some kind of a physical problem, whatever that may be for people, comes up in all different forms: a physical pain, an allergy. It only comes up for one reason, and that's because it's meant to be resolved through your observation of it. That's a calm observation. A calm, quiet observation. So then when I say that, the question becomes, how do I stop this thing? It's so loud. It's like, you just don't make those things meaningful. Let it be a whole whirlwind or a tornado of thoughts. Just spinning, 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 saying nothing though. Saying nothing. You are not something that needs to get caught up in that. Some of my friends have been realizing this and they're so happy. They're so happy. And I'm sure many of you have had the realization of it from time to time and got some relief from that. That's the point. You get relief in the realization that you dream a dream. That nothing in it is really a threat. Nothing in it is even really there. What masquerades as if it's threatening, though, is a gift to you. Can you imagine like this a situation? Look, it's all energy. Can you imagine a situation? Let's say some people are descending on you and it seems like they're going to beat your ass. You have no idea what they're going to do to you, but it seems like they're going to beat your ass or rape you or something bad to you. And all of a sudden you go, oh, I remember what this is for. And that feeling, that sense of that sense of fear, that sense of them being a threat, that feeling is used for awakening your mind. There's no way they can harm you. They will change their mind. They can't. That's just how it works. You can't entangle energy that's not resonating like that. So they change. You could see that kind of stuff occur without being in a situation as extreme as that, let's say. You can see that occur when, say, someone comes up to you with a certain kind of energy, like they're pissed at you. And they're feeling guilty and they want to get at you about it. You can see them calm down and change course where the love and compassion comes in. And you know what? If you don't get the perception of that, the love and compassion, it's not yet complete, but it's working. Whenever you make any attempt to heal, you're successful. So let's say you get the sense someone's mad at you and they come up to you and they're mad at you. And you are willing to heal. You notice what's going on. See, if you don't notice what's going on, nothing's going down. It's just playing the pattern. You're just going to repeat the pattern with this energetic pattern. But where there's a willingness, okay, there's a pause and a willingness to see the innocence, then no matter what, healing occurred. And you can only perceive the healing to the extent that there's not going to be fear around it, that you're not too fearful for it. So it'll come back around again and again to resolve your doubt that healing has occurred. You can say healing has occurred for everything already. You can say it's coming around to resolve your doubt every single time until you can just laugh at the situation and really have fun in the situation, whatever the situation is. Aloha, Cynthia. Thank you for watching from Louisiana. I appreciate you. So I noticed since Akea is on here, we'll segue over to Disney stuff because she's my Disney princess. And she's joining now. And she recently thanked me for doing all that Disney promoting on Wisdom Dialogue. She's like, thank you so much, because she loves Disney and Disney gets a lot of flack. You know, they get a lot of bad press. You know, her and I have been Disney people for a long time. We lived in Anaheim, California. We had passes. We went ever since she was a little tiny kid. And going on scary rides with the little kids, staying up till midnight. We just had so much fun. We were total Disney kids, right? So, and I've been talking about lately where she's saying, thank you so much for promoting Disney. Well, I've seen Disney movies and I've seen them with my daughter, and I know they have a really deep message. I don't know about all the recent ones. I don't know about every single one, but I know that there are certainly ones that stand out. They have a really deep message, like deeper than, people are saying that there's this sexual stuff and all this other stuff going on. If you even look past that, there's an even deeper message, and it speaks to the nature of, what's going on here, like the awakening and stuff like that. It's really interesting because it's like there's a deeper message underneath this one that seems like it might be sinister, but I'm looking at it, I'm going, okay, I guess you could make that out to look like 3 penises. If you're looking for penises, you could make that out that it looks like 3 penises, if that's what you're looking for. You're going to find what you're looking for. Is it kind of like, you take a drawing, you're like, find penises in here. And there's all these random shapes and stuff. I bet you I could find them if I'm looking for them. But it's like, even if it is someone's in there doing some penis subliminal messaging in there, still there's a message in these things somehow deeper than that, that's really pointing to something. And who knows, maybe the writers of it and the people who put it out and everything didn't even know what they were doing, but like it comes back, like even Kung Fu Panda, it came back to, he's the answer to everything. He's already looking for this important thing all this time, and it comes back to all he needs is a mirror. It's him. That's like the whole crux of the whole story, Kung Fu Panda. I might have spoiled that for some of you guys. That's how it goes. It's still a funny movie. It just occurred to me, I wasn't 100% sure that was a Disney movie, but now I'm sure it was because Kaya didn't correct me. I'm just glad I don't need to know anything. It's okay with me if other people know something, though. It's definitely not. Oh, it's not Disney. Okay. It's definitely not. She was late on correcting me. Oh, she has her hands up.
It's not Disney.
Thank you. What's that? Well, okay. Well, there's another one. I don't know who makes it, but
you know what? It's DreamWorks, and actually, DreamWorks is. You need to know how smart you are. Yes, everyone needs to know how smart I am about Disney. DreamWorks is the guy that runs it and created it is Jeffrey Katzenberg, and he used to be almost the head of animation at Disney.
Okay.
Couldn't quite cut the mustard though.
Good to know.
You're welcome.
Thank you. All right, honey, I love you. Raise your hand if you want to talk to me again.
Okay.
Okay. Oh, thank you, Leah. Thanks for joining. Yeah, so there's several examples, and this may be the case that if you're looking for the message, there's always a message. There's always a message toward awakening. You can use any movie like that. And it's like, it's kind of like symbolic of, you can use this movie like that. Your life is like a movie. So it's really the same thing. Like, it's all symbolic. So they're all delivering messages to you. If you look, you'll find. That's exactly right. Like if you watch a movie and you're going, what's the message in this? You're going to get messages. So no matter what their intention is, in making the movie, you're going to get the message. Say, let's apply it to a vaccine. Okay. Okay. No matter what the intention is on making the vaccine. Okay. Let's say, let's say you find yourself getting a vaccine. It doesn't matter what the reason is. Someone forced you, whatever. You just thought it was a good idea that in that moment. And then you decided, holy shit, what did I do? Let's apply it to that. Look for the lesson in it. Whatever you will look for the lesson will show up to be a blessing. Whatever you use, you're looking for the lesson, it's going to show up to be a blessing. So you can't mess it up. Any of my friends who might think that, oh, I screwed up, I messed myself up, I took the vaccine. That's an opportunity. That's good. It's good that you're getting that impression that you messed up, you took a vaccine, or you messed up because you went skiing and now you're sore or something. It's just that you didn't do anything to mess it up. It's just playful like that. Even if you worked out, if you think you worked out and now you feel sore, it's just playful like that. It's like, oh, that can't even be true. How weird that I feel sore. And it seems like it's after I've worked out. But fun. That doesn't mean you're going to hurt yourself. That's what people are afraid of. Like if they're not making something wrong or making something as if it has a cause in the world, then they could hurt themselves. If they deny that it has a cause in the world, then they're going to be hurting themselves, right? Well, people have been making things real for a long time. Take alcoholism as one of them. One of my friends tells me that she drinks a lot of alcohol, and she drinks alcohol every single night. And how do I stop drinking alcohol? And it's like, that isn't the real question. The real question is, how do I use this perception? How do I use my perception? Really? There's a perception that I shouldn't be drinking alcohol. There's a perception that I would be way more productive. Okay, who wants this stuff though? Who wants those things? Who wants to be different? When you're wasting time in wanting to be different, you cannot possibly be allowing for any kind of healing if you're wanting it to be different. If your reason for healing is to get rid of something, that's really having an opposite effect, because you can't have gratitude for it and also want to get rid of it. You have gratitude for it. It doesn't matter if it stays or goes for you. You keep it for 100 years if it would save you from having to be going around in patterns like this forever, whatever it takes. So it's like this patience that's permeating everything. These things are allowed to be as they are for as long as they need to be that way. I don't think I heard anyone tell me, like, with the ankle thing, I hope your ankle gets better really fast. I don't think anyone even said that to me. So that's really interesting. Because I know in past experiences, whatever happened to me going on, I hope like with Achaia, when it seemed like Achaia didn't like me, my friends would go, I hope Achaia comes back to you soon. And it's like, well, you know what? I don't really have that feeling like I hope that she comes back to me soon. I just hope for the healing to occur. And I know she's coming back. It's not a soon thing, doesn't have to be anything. We're all meeting again. I knew you'd, oh, let me see what Leah says here. I knew you'd want your ankle to take as long as it takes. Yeah. 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 I lean into it. I lean into that thing, and I know that, and, also knowing that, once I'm done with this pattern of the whole ankle thing, all I have to do is be done with it. And then they can't even do a thing. Right? The only reason it seems like it makes it so I can't do certain things is because I want it that way. I know I want it that way. Even if it seems like it, and to me, it doesn't even seem like I don't want it that way. It's like, however it is, I want it that way. The lava is coming. I want it that way. Someone's pissed at you. I want it that way. I had the experience where it seemed like someone was completely pissed at me. I was like, oh shit. I was like, the next time I see that person, and I knew I was going to see him really soon. Next time I see that person, whoa boy, I'm gonna have to face some energy like that, right? Whoa boy. And then I just noticed that and embraced that feeling right there. And then there was never even a word mentioned about it the next time we met. It was like it never even occurred. It was like there was nothing. There's just nothing. We're just plain energy. There was a sense of apprehension. So the apprehension alerted me like, wow, something needs compassion here. I'm wrong, whatever I'm thinking about what I'm making of this situation and how it's going to be. I'm wrong about that. I have no idea how it's going to be. And just in allowing myself to get the compassion, it was just like, no thing. It never even manifested into any kind of conversation. Like, why did you do that? Why'd you say it like that or whatever? But the person was obviously pissed. You know, they did a text letting me know about that for a second. And then just knowing that it's perfect the way it is, and letting the emotions, whatever the emotions are, the fearful emotions, and letting them just be felt in that moment. Okay, give it to me now. What am I afraid of? I'm afraid of feeling only. So then I don't have anything to be afraid of. So then I'm meeting the person without fear. And in that, there's just like a sense like, oh, it's no big deal. The relationships are the most potent teaching tools. They really show you, they mirror you so well. When you're denying innocence to someone, that's a reflection of you denying innocence to yourself. And it feels so good when you'll just extend it. What stops you from extending it? It's as if the same kind of bad shit can be happening to you again. Because you think it happened in the first place. You think it's happening right now. So then you set it up so that it seems to happen again. It seems to happen in a dream that goes on and never ends until you decide you have no use for it anymore. So apparently yesterday I decided I had no more use for the ankle thing. Because I showed up at the lawn. I had no idea I was going to be dancing. And I showed up there and I just felt the vibe, and I started moving my hips a little bit, and I just started moving. The next thing you know, I'm in the middle of the drum circle. And I'm totally like going for it in the middle of the drum circle. It was just like, there was just like no more need for it. That was the end. But, you know, if it's not needed for something, if I'm done with it at any moment, even when it looks like really fucked up, you could actually see it, perceive it with the body's eyes as healing. It's just a decision. We will see that. It's just a decision that we make. The only thing that prevents us right now from getting the perception of that kind of healing like that you could just like see it transform right in front of you, is fear. We don't want to know. We don't want to really know that we're making this up. That's too scary. You called it, Leah. What did you say? I was going to be dancing soon. I just saw Leah the other night. Had some friends over. Some friends came from the mainland, LA area. They've been listening on Wisdom Dialogues for 7 years. Yeah. I was like, I didn't even know I was on Wisdom Dialogues for 7 years. Was I? And they're like, oh, we started following your writing first. Yeah. So I've been hanging out with them. I think they're checking out Hapruna today. They told me they're going to be joining. I don't know if they're on here. They might have got caught up at the beach. I was surprised because they told me we're still gonna come on there. I'm like, okay. But we were cruising around. We went over to Leia's house. They got to see all kinds of cool stuff and meet awesome people. Learn all about living in Puna, and just basically we're having wisdom dialogues all the time, you know. They've got a wealth of questions. How do you do? What do you do? What do you do? You know, when can I just take you with me so I can ask you all day long? And, you know, I love that. I never get tired of that. I had wisdom dialogues Friday night, and they were at the Friday night one in person. And then after that, we went out to eat, and we basically had wisdom dialogues for like 5 hours straight after the 2 hours that were at Hawaiian Sanctuary. So, you know, it's like the truth is enlivening. Let's say it gives you energy because it affects the nervous system in a way, not that there really is a nervous system, but in the illusion, seemingly it affects the nervous system in a way that's calming, and calming is energizing. So it's like you can just keep on going. And for me, when it's come to a point where, okay, it's time for you to take some quiet time, it's like time for me to take some quiet time, and that's it. I just go to it. It's just like that's just like it's a natural next step. So I don't have to try to regulate like how long I'm going to be sharing with someone, or how much energy I'm going to be putting into it. I'm always just giving everything. No, that's what my goal is in the moment, to just always give everything to the moment. And whenever I need a rest, I'll just find myself taking a rest. And sometimes it might seem like a weird time too, like to someone who doesn't know me. People who know me, they don't think it's weird at all. And they're like, yeah, that's how it is. I appreciate that she's so well taken care of like that. That she could just go and excuse herself anytime. Even if I made plans, even this, even that, it's like no pressure. So keeping all of the pressure off of yourself, and you know, giving everything to the moment is receiving everything in the moment at the same time. But, you know, we got our agendas of what we want, what we think we want from the experience. We got our agendas, and there's nothing wrong with them. They're just not meaningful. So it doesn't matter if anything about the agenda manifests like that. It doesn't matter if what the outcome of the situation is, as long as you're giving everything. You know, giving everything to the moment is basically using the everything that's arising in the moment for the purpose that you intended in the first place, by manifesting as if you're in a body, in a world, in a separate world where you don't want to be. Oh, now I see him. Niall is on. Aloha, Niall. I was just sharing about our fun, some of our fun adventures. I just feel really drawn to people who are open, and, you know, when my friends come and visit, and they're just open to the wisdom, to relaxation, I feel really drawn to those people. Those are the people I find myself hanging out with. But I don't say I'm not going to hang out with people of a particular vibe. Like, I don't need to do that. I don't think there's anything wrong with it or anything. The boundaries are going to come up whenever they need to. You know, I'm always embracing that. One of my friends was asking me, I'm going to go hang out with my mom. And I don't know how I'm going to be with that, because, you know, she's she believes that things are threats, and she talks like that, and that's how she wishes to relate with me. And that is given you to kind of like contemplate their enlightenment, because it's yours, it's about you. So you're perceiving a person that's kind of like on the shallow end, you could say, just kind of making everything real and meaningful, calling things a threat, being scared, being mean, all that kind of stuff. And they're a family member of yours, and you find yourself being with them. You find yourself agreeing to be with them. That's what the situation is. You don't have a choice about it. So in that situation, it's kind of like you're meant to be in the role of this kind, grandmotherly kind of energy, watching without attachment to how they perceive you, of course. I just want them to see me. Whenever you want someone else to see you, you're wrong about that. There's no one there. There's not anyone there. You don't have a mom or a dad or anyone to see you. Your perception of them not seeing you is 100% projected by you. So in that case, you can embrace the resistance. There's this sense of resistance to them having their journey. And, everyone is returning to wholeness as far as, the separate mind. Everyone is already at wholeness. But in the sense of separation, everyone's returning to wholeness. So it's like you can appreciate that they're on the journey through these currents of mind that make guilt seem like it's reasonable. And it's your job to show everyone their innocence, because that's what reveals your innocence to you. Because remember, no one's there and you're only projecting them like that. Niall said, you give it all for the glory of love, and we are tuning in from Hapuna Beach. Yes. Oh, I'm grateful for you too. Thank you. Thanks for joining from Hapuna Beach. I was talking with them this weekend, and they have such a sweet relationship. They've been together like 26 years, and since they were 16 years old. So they're not even that old in terms of years, but they're so sweet. They have such a nice love. They have the nice sweet, loving, non-controlling, not this, you're allowed to do this and you're allowed to do this, just so you know, this sweetness. And I see that is the key to long-term relationships that aren't sour, because the kind that turn sour. They're just like, they're all crotchety, That's the key, though, is just allowing everyone to be as they are. Just allowing people to be as they are. I have one friend, Steven, who will just go, you know what I'm going to do today? I'm going to let everyone do whatever they want to do. And if I feel bothered with it, I'm going to take care of my feelings. I was like, wow, you sound like an awesome person to hang out with. These are like the best, most fun people to hang out with. And so, of course, they're going to keep on being happy and drawn to one another, because people aren't trying to control each other. See. Dancing. Oh, yeah. Thank you, Amy. Yes. We had fun dancing, too. That was really awesome. And gratitude all around for all the people. Oh my gosh, it's so amazing, because I was talking to people last night, and it occurred to me that the things that they're repeating back to me are the things that I was bringing. It was like the information I was bringing here, teaching, whatever you want to call it, back in 2010 when I came. And it seemed like no one understood what I was saying at all. It was like I was on a completely different wave. And, you know, it seemed like people were so dense. It seemed like they were like 500 years behind me or something. It was weird. It was a weird thing. And then no one seemed to want to listen to me because it seemed like a weird chick, I guess. I don't know what it is, whatever perception I'm making there. So then I have people repeating those same things back to me. And I'm like, thank you so much. It's so nice to hear that in this community. It's so nice to hear, you know, people taking responsibility for the way that they feel, instead of taking responsibility for the things that they do. You know, that just seemed dangerous to most people when I was first running around back in 2012 or 2010, 12. It was the same in 12. It was the same in 14. I was doing wisdom dialogues over at Kalani. I just ended it because people were blank. They weren't getting the message. Now, let's take this back to, this is all projected by me. There's no Puna. There's none of those people. This is all being projected by me. So the more I'm willing to open up to that, that's really the truth. There are not dense people outside of me. There's just the sense that there's dense people outside of me because there is a need to, number one, be ahead of a bunch of people. That always stokes the ego out. Number one, being ahead of a bunch of people. Also, it looking bleak, like no one can understand me. You know, that's part of the ego game too. And, you know, it just struck me in like 2014. I go, I don't need to say anything to anyone. I don't need to talk to anyone. This isn't necessary. Just love them. Just love them. And you know, being aware of my own projections. I mean, at first when I was willing to be aware of all my own projections, I couldn't see shit. No, they still get revealed to me. Oh, that's a projection. Might be a more subtle seeming projection, you know, but it's still a projection. So anything that doesn't speak to complete innocence and freedom, that's a projection. And managing our words isn't going to help us. This idea of trying to manage our words, I say, let the words flow naturally and notice when they're against you. Okay. And they're speaking against you. Okay. We have Bob Shine hand going. Aloha, Bob Shine. You must unmute if you want to talk. There we are. Okay. I think you're on. Or not. Well, when you pop up, you pop up. Now, there's always going to be the stuff to irritate you. There's always going to be the things that irritate you. Thank you. Always, not forever, not for eternity, but always in the perpetuating of patterns. You want it like that. It's through the irritation, though, that you release the irritating thought. See, even you can use a bug bite. So it's funny because some days I'll seem like I'm not totally unaffected by bug bite. And then other days it'll seem like, wow, these are really, really itchy. I don't mind if I find myself scratching them or not or anything like that. All I'm doing is observing. And I'm just noticing the reaction to the sensation. You get a sensation that there's a burny, itchy, whatever that thing feels like. You get a reaction to it. You react over that projection. The feeling is projected from the mind. And then there's a reaction over the projection. That reaction speaks to a thought that irritates you. You know, you could take it, first of all, with the thought that the bug got you. The bug that you projected. Yeah, Bob, that's right. I can't hear you. I got you unmuted on my side, though. And I know my volume's on, so you should be, I don't know. I don't know. But if you work it out over there, just start talking. And it's not like you go around looking for intense situations to throw yourself in. I mean, there's some people that do that. They go around looking for, they're like, I need an intense situation to throw myself in. Look, the intensity is coming. You can't help it. Intense shit is coming. You just like count on it. Don't hope that this day is not going to have any intense shit. Because the intensity is coming. Get excited about it. It's like a game. The intensity comes. And what are you going to do with it? It's like a game. Are you going to do it the same way you've always done it? If you're going to do it the same way you've always done it, you're going to just get the same results over and over and over again. That's perfect, because eventually you're going to see that you don't want to do it that way anymore. You're going to change your mind. It's only a matter of time and suffering. You have to suffer like a mofo, in case you haven't noticed. But that's only because you put that in place to make suffering as if it's something that you should reasonably want to do.
Can you hear me now?
I hear you, Bob.
Oh, good. I had to push something on my sound system, I guess.
All right, it worked.
It worked. Oh my good. So I'm not a mutant anymore. I'm not muted.
Not muted.
Great. So I wanted to ask you about, I've studied the self-identity Ho'oponopono, E. Haleakala Hugh Len, where he talks about that all humans are comprised of the father, mother, and child, the superconscious, the conscious, and the subconscious. That the child is your subconscious, which is your past, your programming, your memories, and that all of your pain and problems are due to unhealed stuff from your child. And then it's up to you as the mother consciousness to connect that subconscious inner child with the father consciousness, the divine consciousness that can heal and transform whatever pain or suffering that the child is inflicting on you, is still unresolved, still unhealed. Do you think there's any validity to this?
Well, sure, Bob. It's just another way of saying the exact same thing. Remember, none of the words are true, right? It's just the same. It's the same thing. It's the same, so you got another pointing. Now you have another pointing in the same direction, what we've been talking about here on Wisdom Dialogues and other things that you've shared with me that you've studied, which is a lot. And I know you've done a lot, and you know a lot about all the spiritual concepts and stuff like that. So basically, this is just coming together for you in another way. It's just being said in another way. That's all. See, it's like, here's another way that might tie it in for you too. I don't know if you heard, I shared it like this before, that this child, what you're calling the inner child, is a thought structure that you made with the ego. You made it for your attacks. You made it for being attacked. Okay, because that's how you prop up a world, by attacking a self-image. Okay, so that's the inner child. You made it for attack. So you can say that you're the mother in that case of that inner child, and you're going to protect the child from further attacks coming from the ego, right? You're going to protect the child from the further attacks coming from the ego. It's almost like you offered those attacks up so that they are healed, right?
So you're saying I'm doing the attacking, my ego?
Well, you don't have an ego. We talked about that before. You get guided.
Oh,
You get guidance. You get guidance to, let's say one of them would be to evaluate yourself, which when you're evaluating yourself, you're evaluating that structure of thought that you made with the ego. So if you get hooked into evaluating yourself and you make those thoughts real, then you're attacking yourself. Yes, you're attacking the child you made with the ego.
by evaluating, by being too analytical. you're
Well,
saying.
let's make it let's say it like this. If you're evaluating yourself as in did I do it right or not? Did I say the right thing? Did I do the right thing? Am I on the right path in my spiritual awakening even? As if you're your own teacher, right? So any of those evaluations, when you make it as if any evaluation, whether or not this image is worthy, that's what makes it into an attack. So when you hear the thought, when the thought arises, you're noticing that it doesn't have any meaning. And in that, you're relieved from it.
You mean from like any kind of a pain I would feel from my past childhood?
Yeah, you don't have a past childhood. That's not how it is. There's no past. You made an image with the ego of this structure of thought. You made an image with the structure of thought of this guy who has a past and was a child at one time, and now he's become an adult and he has all this bullshit going on from his childhood. That's all. That stuff isn't relevant. What's relevant is right now in this moment, protecting the inner child that you made with the ego from further attacks. It's built on attack. You're protecting it from further attacks. You know, the child that you made with the ego isn't even real. It's not innocent. It's not guilty. It's nothing. But see, the ego can't attack you. It's impossible for the ego to attack you. You guys are on completely different levels. You made the ego, right? So it can't attack you. It can only attack the image you made with the ego, which isn't real.
You mean attack my inner child?
Right. Attack your inner child. That's right. Which is also made of attack. That's why it's going to be resolved. It'll be no more. The whole structure will be resolved. You won't need it anymore. You won't need the inner child anymore. While the inner child hangs around, the inner child is for extending your compassion, though. Because there's only two choices in that. Remember, it's compassion or it's attack, one or the other for the inner child, which doesn't exist.
I see. So it's just a matter of compassion. Well, I've had people like attack me, not that recently, like some weeks ago. And so for things that were unjustified, that I was pretty much innocent of. And so, you know, when I was a kid, I would take it seriously when I was innocent of something and attacked and whipped and you know, I was, you know, felt traumatized. But now when someone does it, I feel total peace. And I feel that I'm not going to allow them to convince me that I'm guilty or I've done something wrong. I do feel that aspect of myself, that I'm standing up for my inner child. I'm not going to allow any more unjustified guilt, shame, blame, subjected to.
Is there
the
gratitude?
people.
Is there gratitude for the person that seems to be putting guilt or shame or blame on you?
Oh yeah, I said, oh well, thank you very much for sharing. This is
Nice.
this is a very powerful healing therapeutic experience for me to
That's
have you
beautiful.
you know shouting at me this way. And he says, oh,
Yeah,
well, I hope
it is. It's true. It sounds funny, but it's true.
yeah,
To have you shouting
yeah.
at
And he
me
says, well,
is an experience.
yeah, he says, well, I hope it's knocking some sense into you.
And then you're like, I'm sure it is. I'm sure you're
Yeah,
right. I'm sure
yeah.
it
It was
is.
a powerful surge of energy that he was.
Yeah, I bet you really felt
unleashing.
that, huh?
Yeah, it was very healing. I just
Yeah.
went home and just kind of sat with it and kind of absorbed it. It was, and then I went back and thanked him for it,
Beautiful.
and then and that's when he says, well, I hope it knocks some sense into you. So he was still, felt he was right, but I felt total peace and calm and gratitude, and it was a healing experience for me to be able to not fall victim to some guilt, shame, blame
Right. And
attack.
not project it back. That's the biggest thing. Not try to project it back either. Right?
Right. Yeah, not to think he's a bad guy or something.
No, he's
that,
giving you just what you need, because this is exactly what you need to burn through that kind of pattern. And that's what
right.
that's what you want. You want to heal the thought beneath it. So the pattern is fine, right? You'd be perfectly happy if someone did the exact same thing to you tomorrow, right? Because you'd have a different opportunity to play it out in a different way, right?
Right. Yeah, I'm even more secure and stable in my innocence, goodness, and purity.
And their
that comes from within.
innocence, which you share with them.
Right. Yeah. So that's just it. I know that they're just kind of locked in some kind of illusion about me or about themselves, and I have compassion for that.
Nice.
That what they're going on and on about is totally unnecessary.
And you put them there. You put them in that place.
Right.
So
Because
you got to
in
be
the
so
past,
grateful
I've
that
had-
they're playing it out for you like that. Because you put them in that place in the first
because-
place.
Yes, because in the past I've had people yell at me and I suffered. I was traumatized, but now I don't buy into it anymore.
Now you
No,
see.
now I-
Very good.
Right. Yeah. So then, it's in the past as a child, I suffered, but now I can stand up and, like you say, protect the child, protect my innocence, protect my purity and goodness that's God-given.
You remember the saying that is from a Course in Miracle: all pain is past. The past doesn't exist, and all pain is past.
Right. Yeah, that's just it. So, but see, this is what the self-identity Ho'oponopono talks about, that all your problems are the past, that
Yes.
it's memories, it's programming from your past. So the idea in his ideas, you clean those memories. You use that mantra, I love you, I'm sorry, please forgive me, thank you. And that cleans the past so that you're free of all the memories and programmings and conditionings. That's what creates all of your problems, your financial, relationship, physical, whatever problem you have. He says it's those program memories from your past that
Okay,
are
Bob.
stored in your.
Thank you, Bob. I appreciate you coming on. I really appreciate you sharing about your experience, and that was awesome. I'm stoked. I know that it's just going to keep on getting more enlightening for you, and keep on getting to be more of a connection and a sharing of love. And I really appreciate you coming on and sharing with everyone today. Thank you so much. We'll talk soon. Aloha.
All right. Well, okay.
All right, that was great. Thank you, Bob Shine. So Akea wrote me something, and here's a quote. She said, people have all kinds of sides to them. This is a quote. People have all kinds of sides to them, and some sides are messy. The point isn't to push the bad stuff away. It's to make room for it, live with it. That's Jin from Turning Red, the newest Disney Pixar movie. Akea gets a lot of her spiritual insights from Disney. So she shares those with me. And, you know, I was talking, hey, Kaya, is Monsters Inc. a Disney one? I was telling Leia about, man, you know, that movie like popped up in my mind. And I was like, what the heck? That was basically like saying what's going on here, you know? Yes, it's Disney. Okay. Because it's like these monsters, they think that their only way they're gonna survive is to scare the shit out of kids, right? They have to scare these kids. They come in a room, they go through these doors in the monster world, and they end up in the kids' rooms, right in the kids' room, scaring them. They get fuel, they think, off of the kids' screams, their fright. Well, things go awry, and then one of the kids actually ends up in Monsterland. And that's just like a total, it sets them on this total mess. And also the monsters learn, ultimately, the monsters learn about love and how that energy is, and how they have more energy like that. Right, Akea? Did I put that right? Akea might have even more insight on that. But yeah, I think you can see, if you're looking, you can see that in every single movie and show, you know, if you're looking for it. Good job. Thank you. Akea gave me a good job. Thanks, Akea. The first movie, speaking of movies, this is just a funny story. First movie Akea and I went to see was The Lion King. And that, you know, Akea was born in 92. So she was probably 2 years old. Yeah, it was 94. And I was getting into the movie. Okay, I was getting into this movie. This movie, the baby lion got killed basically by his own uncle, right? And then things were starting to heat up. Well, Akea saw the baby lion get killed, and she couldn't make it through the rest of the movie. That was enough. Or not the baby lion, the dad lion. Got that one mixed up. The baby's dad. So it's Simba's dad, Mufasa. Thank you, Akea. She saw the dad die, and him get and the little baby lion, kind of like a little kid lion, get blamed for it. And that was it. She wasn't able to finish the movie. So I went back another time after I met Tony. I just met Tony right there, my husband. And I said, I have to go back and see this Disney movie. I have to see what happens in the movie. And, you know, that's another one. It just like pops up in my mind too. It's like it seemed like there's no way he could make any kind of difference. You know, there's no way he can make any kind of, it's like the uncle lion who has like basically he's insane. You know, he thinks he wants to rule because he wants to have the glory of ruling, you know. And it seems like there's nothing he can do about it. But, you know, it's like there's this will to care for just to care for himself and care for everyone, where he just like comes up really big and strong, and he's able to transform everything and get everything back to people are in harmony. They're all animals, but, you know, people are in harmony. The regular natural flow of life depends on this king who cares about everyone. He's caring for everyone. He's not going for his own glory. You know what I mean? That's what it depends on. So as soon as someone comes along and they're just interested in their own glory, what you see is their whole world falls apart. There's starvation, there's fighting, there's the sun even went away, or I don't know how that happened, but all of a sudden it's all dark and there's fires everywhere. You know, and basically the crux of the story is this is what happens when the world is ruled by this sense of wanting to be special. I want to be in charge. I want to be special. I want to be the one. I want to be the one with the accolades. And, you know, it's really good symbology. It's really good symbology. And that's what goes on in societies. It cycles around samsara. It's going on right now. It gets a little better. It gets a little worse. It gets a little better. It gets a little worse, like that. Until eventually, you know, we see the manifestation of having a leader. When the people see the manifestation of having a leader that really cares about the people, that's because they've done the work. You know, this isn't just going to be gifted to you. The leaders that we see set in place right now are a manifestation of our own mind, of our own fear. You know, it's just manifesting like that. There's no way around it. It has to come like that. So there's no reason to be mad at any of those officials that seem like they're bad or mean or anything. They're just doing according to how you could say they're destined to do that. They're helping everyone out. They're worthy of gratitude, of course, and nothing less. Graven images are sin. Hooray. So graven images, you know what? I'm not exactly sure what that word graven means. So maybe you tell me what you mean about that. But you know, anything where you make something into an idol, you know, like I need that. I need a body. I need a particular body. A lot of people go through that. They think they know who is the person that they're supposed to be with. Maybe that person isn't returning the affections and they're hankering for this body. That would be making it into, basically making it into a graven image. It's like a sinful image. It's like I'm going to be burying all my pain and projecting more pain until I get this thing that I think I want. And then the desire just comes back again, and you keep on projecting pain and stretching time out. So we have more time to play out these painful things we put in motion. Someone asked me about karma. That's just the same thing as saying you're extending time, you're putting things out. So it's like there's this output of projections, and that's basically extending time, because it's making time for these patterns to play out. And you can say that's karma. So it doesn't mean that you necessarily have to play all those patterns out that are set up in time. That's why you can also shorten time. It's not like you set out time and now, you know, let's say set out in time, I have 100 lifetimes already planned. They're already planned. 100 of them already planned based on what I've been projecting. I have 100 lifetime planned. That's how it is too. They're planned. They're all planned out from this instant. They're like planned out already. Like the whole future and everything is all planned out. It's just that it's changeful from this moment now. Okay. So when we're releasing the patterns as they're playing out, and that's really the way to release the patterns as they're playing out. I've been talking about block therapy too, where you're going into the physical sense and finding the pain in the physical sense. That's also the same thing. If you don't have a choice in that. You don't have a choice in whether you go looking for the physical pain either in the body sense. So you seem to be looking in a body for it, but really there's only a sense of a body. I mean, really, when you're looking for these pain sensations in the body, you really start to get the sense that this body is not solid. You know why? Because you'll come up against something and it'll feel very solid and very painful. And you know, when I say painful, it's totally different from the way people think of it, because this kind of pain is more like excitement, because you got a nice deep breath, you got a deep calm breath. So this kind of pain is more like excitement. It's not the kind of pain like, oh, this is terrible, suffering. No, you come up against something hard and there's some excitement because there's all this sensation. It could be interpreted as pain, but you know, if it is being interpreted as pain, you know what's going to happen. You're going to lose your breath. So then you just back off until you get a nice, even flow. You'll see that the things that seem solid will soften up fast, really fast, just like in making space. Like once there's willingness to go through that pain that you touch upon, it moves fast. It transforms so quickly. And in that, there has to be a mental willingness to release that physical sense of pain. It has to be mentally willingness. And in that mental willingness, The thoughts that are propping up that pain are being resolved. So you can say that by nipping it in the bud like that. There's different, it's not, I'm not saying your experiences in the day-to-day life aren't still coming, but you might find that you're better equipped to deal with them because you're already used to celebrating and appreciating your pain. So then when there's something in the experience comes up and you're getting a painful emotional reaction, it's like you're already trained to experience pain as if it's a gift, because it is. So and then you start to get into the sense that I talk about how, you get an emotional reaction that seems painful and you find pleasure in it. And, even more than pleasure, ecstasy in it. Because the pain part, the part where it's like, oh no, even you lost something. Let's say you lost your keys. That's the story, right? The story is you lost your keys. There's a sense like this urgency. So just in that moment and taking that sense of urgency and getting a load of it, just check it out. It's not really urgent that you find your keys. That there's one reason why you don't see your keys right now, and that's so that you can get that sensation, so you can heal through that. Everything has a reason like that. It's not a reason like I lost my keys to protect me from an accident, or that's some stories sometimes people make up. Oh, I lost my keys. It must be because I'm being protected from an accident. Well, you lost your keys because there's a reaction when you lose your keys, and making up the story that it must be because you're protected from an accident is a way of not getting that feeling. It's just making a story to protect you from feeling it right now. It's like trying to make you feel better. When people tell me something like, oh yeah, I'm really grateful for the relationship because I learned how I don't want to be. I'm like, no, that's not gratitude. That's not the same thing. You did not learn how you don't want to be. You don't know how you want to be. That's ridiculous. You want to be however you are, however you need to be to awaken your mind. You're not in charge of your curriculum again. Relating Raven images to the imaginings of mind or fantasy. Nice. Thank you, Glenn. This has an interesting, the word has an interesting sound for me. And it's kind of like, I'm not really like tuned into what meaning that one has, but who knows? It might start presenting itself to me more now that I'm looking at it like that. That's fun. I had one friend ask me a question back in probably like 2016 or something like that. And, no answer came. It was in Wisdom Dialogues too. No answer came. You know what? I go, you know what? No answer's coming for that right now. I have to get back with you on that. If an answer comes, I don't even know. So it was like there was something that was preventing me from seeing that answer. And then over time, with just like opening up to it, it starts to show me, okay, you have to, you can't have this impediment to actually see the answer. So I would see what the impediment is. It's just a judgment about something. So where I'm holding a judgment, I can't also be listening. So it's like, I don't know the answer to that. But then once that goes away, then I was able to answer my friend's question. And I don't remember what it was at this point in time, but whenever you don't know the answer to something, just be happy with, I don't know. The main thing, what makes you at peace, what makes you be at peace is recognizing that there's no possible way you or anyone else can get it wrong. The thing is, if you project wrongdoing for anyone, you're going to be afraid of being found out. You know what that means? It's like, if they know you, if you're thinking that if people know you as you know yourself and the way you are and the things you do and the things you think, they would never like you. So you have to be hiding all the time. Whenever you're projecting wrongdoing or guilt for another person, you're the one who has to be hiding all the time, because it automatically makes you afraid of other people's judgment of you. It makes you afraid of receiving the rejection that you gave out. See? Reminds me of that Will Smith punch thing, you know. It's like there's a lot of rejection now being projected toward Will Smith. There's like all this rejection, like almost like you're not a good person unless you stood up and you rejected Will Smith. So the funny thing is, this will not stop people from punching people or slapping whatever's going on there. This will not stop people from being violent and doing mean things, trying to punish a person for their actions. He doesn't have a choice. You know what? This whole thing could be a whole actor thing. It doesn't matter. It's still good for teaching. It doesn't really matter. This could be a complete setup. You know, when I first saw it, I was like, that just looks like a setup to me. And, you know, that may still be the case. I have no idea, nor do I care to make sense of it. But it shows, it's a teaching. It's showing you something. You know, this is how the ego works. Okay. We saw that. Now we got to demonize this guy to protect our own innocence. You always need a scapegoat. So in any group, you got to have a scapegoat from time to time. You know, from the ego's perspective anyways, we need to put our guilt into this person and then make them make them disappear. Like, you're no good anymore. You're dead. You're out of here. We don't care about you anymore. Your brand is dead, whatever. That's not going to help anyone be more safe from getting slapped. That's the thing. That's not going to help with that, because it's making a person guilty. So it's now you get the whole society involved in projecting something. He shouldn't have done that. Or, you know, you have the few that are going, you should have done it. And then those guys are controversial, right? It was pretty funny, though. It was a really good show. For those of you who haven't seen it, I'll give you a little recap. So Will Smith, who's a lot of you guys don't watch TV or know who these people are, so that's really fun. Will Smith, who's like this famous dude, here's a joke about his wife. Someone, Chris Rock, who's a famous comedian, says something about his wife, like something about her being in a G.I. Jane movie, and I guess it wasn't well taken by his wife. Because first it shows Will Smith laughing, and then he walks over there, he walks up on stage to where Chris Rock is standing, and he just slaps him. He just bitch slaps him. It was great, because Chris Rock is just like, whoa, I just got slapped by Will Smith. He's on stage, he's live. And then Will Smith starts yelling at him. He goes back to his seat and he starts yelling at him and cussing him out right from the seat. So Chris Rock just keeps going on with his thing. He's just like, okay, I won't say anything about your wife again. All right. He's just like, he's going on with his whole thing. So a couple minutes later, the same guy who went up and bitch slapped someone, he gets an award. I guess it's Oscars, or I don't know, Academy. What is it? I don't know. Something no one cares about unless something like this goes down on it. I didn't even know anything about that shit. So he goes up to accept his award, right? A couple minutes after all of this. And he starts crying, and he's talking about love, and he's talking about protecting his family and stuff like that, kind of like justifying the whole thing with good tears. Like, this is an actor, a really good actor. Really good tears coming down. And then, after that, the backlash, because he never apologized to the comedian that he slapped. He was just trying to justify the slapping the comedian. So there's like this huge uproar. So there's a recap for those of you that don't know what's going on. Not that anything's happening, but all the things are a teaching. So it's always showing anything that you're drawn to, anything that you hear, whether you hear it coming from me or anyone, all of it's a teaching. So it's just indicative of how the ego works. people look around. Should I be applauding this or should I be doing this? You know, and it's such a demonstration of how we try to make a show for each other. So right now it's like people are looking around and going, who stood up and who stood up and applauded that guy when he was getting his award, whoever that was, you know, we want to boycott those guys. Like we want to punish those guys. Right. Everyone is like puppets on strings for your own awakening. So these kinds of distractions, they're just a part of dreaming to keep you distracted. Like this really seems like it's all of a sudden it's meaningful what I think about that situation. It's meaningful who should be judged, who's right, who's wrong. And that's what it's all about. People take sides and get on stuff. And that, you know, it's so prevalent. It's like we have to be so watchful for something like that because we could take it off guard all the time just to be on a side, just to have a position. And, you know, at certain points, we might find ourselves needing to pretend to take a position. That's what's going on. We're only pretending. We can only pretend to take a position. We can't even really take a position. So we find ourselves pretending to take a position. All it is noticing that you are pretending. That way, if you're in a debate or anything like that, you're calm and you're extending love through the debate. And you can be peaceful and happy through the debate because things aren't coming through seeming like they are a threat. Whatever the other person says, if it seems like a threat, you're grateful that you got that experience. So you can demonstrate to your own mind in that moment that there is no threat. This is just love. And you see it from a different interpretation and change your mind about the way you open up to a person. And you know what the interesting thing is, if you happen to be in a debate, they're understanding you way better. And you're able to make connections. You know, you might even find yourself going, you know what, actually, you make a really good point. I might have to reconsider my position. You know, when you don't have anything to defend, you don't have a position to defend, you can take a position in an open way, and that position can always change. Okay, like let's go back to the vaccine one for a minute. I know a lot of you are under the impression that the vaccine is very harmful. That could be an amazing way to look through this threat thing that we set in place. Okay, every time we're bombarded with that stuff, especially those of us who are doing research. I haven't been doing my own research, but my husband does a lot of research, and he just tells me stuff randomly. He'll just tell me stuff. And when I hear about stuff about people, all these people who are apparently suffering after taking a vaccine, you know what I do? I deny truth to the idea that the vaccine had an actual effect in my mind. If I'm in a debate or find myself in a debate and I'm using this perception, I may be using the perception in a way that looks like I'm making it real. But at the same time, in perceiving it as it is, there's not this attachment to it. I'm even open to seeing that the vaccines are healthy. I'm open. You know, it's kind of like, show me. I don't have to have a position about it. Show me that this is all just a game, and nothing is wrong. Show me. You know, just ask for whatever you want. It's given you. All right, you guys. Thank you. All right, so if anyone has any parting questions or want me to talk about something, just raise your hand or write to me. I'll be back next week. I plan to be coming back every week. I don't have any time off planned, but you never know what could go down. In person, Fridays, Hawaiian Sanctuary, hopejohnson.org. Check out hopejohnson.org. I have not been posting anything lately in writing, nothing. And you know what? I'm having a great time with that. So I don't know if I'm going to go back to posting anything in writing, but if you want to be there for the occasion that it does occur, Instagram, what is it? Awesome Hope Johnson on Instagram, and Telegram, Awakening with Hope. Now, traditionally, historically, I've always gone back and start writing. But I'm not making any promises because things seem to be a lot different for me in my psyche and in my consciousness at the moment. And maybe we'll talk about that next week. That'd be fun. You have a parting. I think you mean you have a party, maybe? Okay. Thank you. Oh, thank you. Okay. Do I know? Okay, Kyle. Thank you. I appreciate you. All right. I think we got it, you guys. Thank you so much. Oh, wait a second. I got a hand. So Julia wants to come in right under the wire. I'm going to try to guess what she wants to talk about.
Aloha, and go ahead. Guess. You will guess.
Kids.
No.
Oh, well,
One more try.
okay. You got me then. You got me. What is it, Julia?
You know, I spoke with you, remember, in person? I mean, not in person, on the phone once
Yeah.
last time.
I
And you
know
don't
about it.
remember?
No, not at all.
The war, Hope, the war.
Oh, right. That's right. You're Ukrainian,
Yes,
right?
I am.
That's badass.
Yes.
That is badass.
I know. I'm like, just today was thinking I am like totally unable to apply the no guilt concept to some things, even though I still
good.
believe the concept, but like,
Huh?
nope, I'm just not gonna apply it here.
Yeah. So you just noticed that. I mean, look at the person who wrote, of course, not really wrote it, but channeled A Course in Miracles, Helen. Now I don't remember. But anyways, Helen,
I can
whatever.
Google her. Right, I remember
She-
someone too. Uh-huh. Mhm.
She said, I know all of this stuff is right on, but I'm not doing it. So,
Mhm.
you know, you just noticing that you're not doing it. You know, she said, I'm taking it to my grave. I'm not doing this. So
Mhm.
you just being aware that you're not doing it. You know that you have a choice, that you could make a choice, but you're not doing it. That awareness is enough. That you know, it may be that the ultimate realization isn't going to occur in this lifetime, and it won't occur as long as you want to keep on holding on to it. That's just how it
Mhm.
is. But
There's all
when
that
you're
rage
going-
and fear, all that why and how could they, and
Yep, that's right.
I need
So
all
this is
that.
a test of your devotion right now. How devoted are you to the truth? Do you want to hang on to the idea that these people are doing something to your country and your people and all that kind of stuff? Or do you want freedom now? And if the answer is no, the answer is no. You don't want to do it.
You
It's
know what
okay.
it seems like, that if I go with that, then I'm somehow betraying them.
Right. Oh yeah, totally. And that's the ego's game. You would be betraying them if you don't project guilt. You're betraying everyone if you don't project guilt. So the ego is always going to put up some fearful concept about why you shouldn't just relax. Relax your concept. See, because you're not really Ukrainian either. This is a story.
I know, I knew that before, but now when this war I became Ukrainian suddenly.
Good. Yeah.
I didn't
know.
care that much, but now all of us care. It's like we
Before
all
you just had a
felt
cute,
some
you just had a
vibe,
cute accent.
right. I really
Now
didn't
you're
care.
Ukrainian.
Exactly.
You're a flag waving Ukrainian now. That's freaking
And not
awesome.
just me. It happened to so many people, and
I
it's like
bet.
this whole story. It's weird how that can
It's
happen
great, though.
at the same
It's
time.
great. It's great that
Mhm.
it's great that you're getting sucked in like that because of the
Mhm.
gifts that you're bringing back from it. So the more
Mhm.
you can be grateful for it, the more you're going to see the gifts.
Mhm.
Like you're
Yeah.
it's kind of like you're traversing through the darkness, and it's kind of like like the Lord's Prayer. I know you're not so familiar with the Bible and stuff like that, but it's like yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I need fear no evil.
Yeah, I
Right?
have heard that one. Mhm.
Yeah. So it's like you have kind of like this internal fire protector, that you've already nourished for a long time. So you can go into that role and acting like that with full confidence that it's perfect for you.
I think there's also some guilt on my part because I feel like, you know what, I'm actually safe here. I'm fine, you know, and I don't feel that bad. Like, you know,
You're
it feels
no
like I
safer
don't
than
feel bad
anyone.
enough or something, you know? And you start thinking about those people that were not safe, you know, and you start feeling for them. And there, a lot of us have that guilt right now,
Right.
you know, for the
Yeah,
ones
that's
that are like
that's a
in
common.
there.
Mhm. Well, good. I'm glad you're getting the experience of that guilt that you're supposed to feel, because everyone else is, like, we should feel guilty. I totally know that vibe. We should feel
Mhm.
guilty. But then there's you in the middle of it, kind of like a pattern disruptor, just because you're seeing that. Just
Mhm.
by seeing that, you're like a pattern disruptor in all of this.
Yeah, the
You
only
know,
thing that I feel like I shouldn't be doing is like, you know, lecturing or preaching to people any of this, because people are in so much pain. And if you know, if you start talking about, oh, no guilt or this or that, that people feel really hurt.
well, just look at it like this, Yulia. You don't even have to evaluate it like that at all. All you do is notice that you don't have a choice in what you say.
Yes, Hope, thank you. I knew it. I knew I had to come to you.
Ah, I love you. I love you coming to me. You're so much fun always. That was so
I
awesome that I forgot about
I
the
needed a
war in the
dose of
Ukraine.
hope, dose of hope. Yes, yes, yes.
It's so big to you.
And I didn't know it was going to be. I had no idea.
Yeah, that's how it is. It takes you by surprise.
I was like, oh, identity, ethnic identity, nothing. I don't care about it. It's like,
Yeah.
oh my God, I do.
You know what? It's really interesting just to watch how this unfolds, and watch where your consciousness goes to on the other side of it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And
Wait, what do you mean on the other side of it?
what's that?
What do you mean by on the other side of it?
Well, when you are just done with that energy,
Mm.
you're just over it. You got to play it out though.
It's like a
You gotta
prolonged
play it
thing
out
now.
completely with love,
Mm-hmm.
with
I guess
gentleness on yourself.
it's what people feel when they root for a sports team, you know, even though that seems to be
That
like
is,
a really crazy
yeah,
comparison. But I
yeah.
always
That's
thought, oh,
that's
that's
very
so stupid
that's
that
very
people.
warlike, actually.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
It's very very warlike. The setting it, it's like setting it up. It's that same kind of energy. It's like setting it up. You get these big stadiums of people, and they're like, red, blue. My team's
Right.
red. My team's blue. People start getting all violent and shit.
Mm-hmm.
It's
Yeah,
just,
and you feel like you have a team and you can't help it, you
yeah.
know? Like, oh, that's my team. That's all.
They
What am
live
I
by
gonna?
me, or I like their colors, or whatever it is.
Somehow I belong there, you know,
Yeah,
whatever, you know. There's
yeah.
something that is very convincing.
We belong to each other. Okay, so the
Right.
sadness about other people. Okay, you mentioned that too. So this sadness about
Mm-hmm.
the other people that seem to be in way more dire straits than you. Okay, they're not there. They're not there. The suffering that you perceive is actually projected from you right now. So you're being asked to get that feeling, that sadness that you're projecting for them is coming from you, and you need that sadness. So you're thanking them for presenting to you as if they're sad.
I mean, there's like the images of a massacre that are going around
Right.
right now.
And you're thanking everyone, all the actors that are playing that out for you, because you're dreaming. So this is not something that I'm demanding that you do right now. It's kind of like
No, I know.
you're like leaning to that direction, right? You're leaning to
Mhm.
that direction. You kind of like get a feel for it, and you're almost like feeling, you can sense what that feels like to be that open and free and loving and non and on, totally protected from any kind of threat too, in that mindset. So you're just kind of leaning toward, gosh, thank goodness all these people are playing out this massacre scene. I've seen some of the pictures too, and dead bodies and stuff like that, because it gets a reaction out of me. That's what I need. Gosh, that's a
Mhm.
really, that, thank you. People are literally dying to wake me up. This is amazing.
Mm-hmm.
And I got all the time in the world. How many more bodies can I kill?
Whoa, how? Just imagine me saying that to my friends. Probably gonna disown me.
Yeah, and I'm not telling you say it to
No,
your
I know,
friends
I
or
totally
your
know that,
mind.
but that's just what runs through
Yeah.
my mind
Right.
immediately, you know.
Oh yeah, people can't take that at all. Are you kidding me?
Mhm.
When there's association with the ego, you can't take that. And
And
definitely,
it's almost like I'm not entirely willing to go there because it feels again like betrayal, guilt, you know. Oh, I'm gonna leave them somehow.
yeah, yeah. Yeah, I got that a little bit. You know, it reminds me a lot. This journey you're having with this Ukrainian Russian thing reminds me a lot of me with the vaccine, mostly mask for me. Like, I don't care about the vaccine, the mask. I was like not willing to put up with people bullying people around. My perception, it was people
Mhm.
bullying people around to put a cloth over their face and breathe their own waste, which, you know, when you're someone who's done a lot of breath work and stuff like that, you know, and to you, and none of this is really true, but to you, like me, that is waste. Okay. You want that out. You don't want it in. So it seems like an assault. And, you know, the whole time I'm letting the thing play. I'm letting it play out, but I'm using it throughout to demonstrate what's true to my own mind. I'm not trying to convince other people, but demonstrating what's true to my own mind. See, and then once I'm able to play the whole thing out, and it's no longer any value to me, it's over. Then I'm on the other side of it, and being on the other side of it was just like so blissful. Just like it was like this long, just like almost like an undoing, like like a unwinding, and the gifts are immense. I can tell you the gifts are immense. So go through it gladly and with gratitude that this is manifesting just for you to wake up.
Mm-hmm.
It's
Wow.
kind of telling you, you know, it's like a way of telling you it's urgent, Yulia, that you wake up.
Mm-hmm.
That doesn't, that's not meant to say to put any pressure on you, because you only can lean toward awakening in the moment. And many times in the moment, you think something else is more important than awakening. So the dead bodies, all those dead bodies in the horror scene is basically showing you, hey, it's urgent.
Thank you.
Yay. Thank you too. I love you so much.
I love you, Hope. Thank you.
Yay.
Thank you. You're
Aloha.
incredible. Thank you.
Aw, thanks
Aloha.
for making me that way.
It's true.
Yay.
Yay.
Aloha. All right, you guys.
Aloha.
I said my things. I love you. Thank you for joining. Mahalo. Aloha. Ahui ho.